All right, guys, it looks like we're going live now. We're going to learn all about products that we want to sell. So this is not product research in the sense of finding what to sell, but learning all about the products that you're selling or you've already determined to sell. I want to give people a little bit more time to come on before I actually get started, even though these are recorded. So just a few more minutes. All right, how you guys doing today? I want you guys to comment. I want to make sure you guys can hear me. I'm trying to pull this up on my different devices so that I make sure I don't keep on talking and nobody can hear what I'm saying. Can you guys just give me a yes or a one? Actually, I guess I could just open it up on my phone. Okay. Awesome. Looks like people are rolling in now. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. As I said a minute ago, we're going to talk about learning all about your products that you've already determined to sell. So again, these aren't products that you are, this isn't all about product research and finding products to sell. This is after you've already determined your products to sell. Now, what else can you know about them? How can you make your campaigns as good as they could possibly be? How could you highlight your products in a way that nobody else is and get conversions that nobody else is? And so this does take a little bit of work and a little bit of time. We're going to go through several different products and just kind of learn all about them. I didn't pre-organize any of this. I have no clue what products we're going to find, simply because I just wanted it to be kind of like raw. I wanted it to be, a discovery process, just like it would be if I was doing this for myself, doing this for my own stores or for my own products. So, like I said, this is not planned. We're just going to go find some products real quick. We're going to assume that these are the products that we want to sell. And then once we start getting some sales, or excuse me, I have to turn off my messenger. Once we're going to assume that we're already getting some sales on these products. We're not actually going to do anything with it. And we're just going to look at what we would find about these products, or what we could find about these products to, again, assuming that we're already selling it on our store, or we already want to sell it, what can we do to enhance the chances of people buying it, to enhance their interest, to enhance their perception of the product, or the value of the product, or whatever it is. We don't know. There's no way to know what we're going to know about a product until you actually know about the product. Sometimes you might, if it's a niche that you're already in, if it's a, say you're into hunting, or you're into bike riding, or you're into crocheting or whatever. If you're in that niche, you might know about the tools, you might know about the devices and the different products that people would buy in those niches. And so, you would have a better chance of understanding that product and displaying that product to the customer because you already understand it. But for somebody like me, when I got into like my main store, National Parks Depot, I got into the outdoor sporting niche. I didn't know anything about any of that stuff. And so, I had to learn about it. I had to learn about why people wanted these certain products. What was this flashlight for? What is this water thing? I didn't know anything about it. And I wanted to find out why people were using the products, why they were buying it, how I could expand my audiences, how I could put what I learned into the ad copy to, enhance their perception of the product and, strengthen their desire to purchase it. And so there's a few things that I do. There's a few places I go to research my products. And so I'm going to show you guys that now. There's certain things that we learn typically about products. And so I'm going to actually type those out here and see if we could find these things in the products that we're going to look at today. And so The first one is price point. We're going to learn how to price a product based on the information that we find out about that product. Because again, we might not know anything about the product. We might not know anything about the niche at all, right? And now we're supposed to figure out how to sell a product to that niche at a certain, like, I'm buying this thing for $19 off of AliExpress. How do I know how much to price it for? And so we're going to try to discover price points through this product research. And then we're going to discover uses of products. We're going to try to discover that. That's one of the things that I discover in this product research is uses. There's times where I had no clue what a product was used for, or that it was used in a way, for a specific task that, just I never would have thought of. Maybe it was well, I'll just take my backpacks for example, because I've used that before. When we started selling backpacks, I had no clue that people that had janitorial jobs were putting their lunches in them, or people that were going to the gym would put their gym clothes in them. I didn't know this until we started doing some product research, and then what that allowed us to do was actually market our products with that knowledge. Now having that knowledge, that advanced knowledge. So. That's what this is about. We're going to learn about the different uses of our products if we can. Maybe there's some uses that we don't know about. And then we're going to learn about some likes and dislikes about our products. Because, some things not everybody likes. Sometimes they see your product, you might be targeting 4 million people and half of them might be in love with your product and the other half might absolutely hate your product, and you might not know why. Going back to our backpack as an example, my backpacks, our customers, the majority of our customers love them, but the people that hate them, they hate them. And the people that hate them are the ones that have the money to spend $200 on a backpack, right? Whereas the ones that love them don't have the money to spend $200 on a backpack, and so they love our affordable backpack that's very comparable to the more expensive one. The people that have the money, they know the difference. They're willing to pay more for a slight difference in quality. But the people that aren't, that love the product, they are happy with it just as is. And so there's no way to really know. There's no way to know what how people feel about a product ahead of time, except by doing some product research. Otherwise, you just have to wait till afterwards, until after they're buying them from you. That's how I discovered in the beginning how people like my products, and you're still going to do that as well. You're just going to look at reviews and feedback from your customers. But before then, there's a lot of other ways to do that, and that's the product research that I'm going to show you here in a little bit. So you're going to learn about the likes and the dislikes about your product, what people like about them, what people don't like about them. You could find out things like, maybe the sizing is off. Maybe the sizing from the AliExpress vendor is off, and you're going to be able to find that out and know that ahead of time, so that you could inform your customers, hey, make sure you order one size ahead, or one size above, or something like that, or one size too small, or whatever the case may be. And you'll be able to discover that from product research. Okay, so I'll put that on likes and dislikes, or pros and cons, or maybe is what I'll call that one. Likes and dislikes, or pros and cons. And then targeting, you can learn some targeting on this one, right? I was selling some binoculars one time, and I was going after, maybe it wasn't binoculars. No, it was a golf range finder. It was a range finder. I don't even know what it is. Something with distance and knowing how to aim. I don't know. But some you guys in golf might know what it is. I didn't do too much research on this one. I learned something about targeting on it. I did do the research on it, but what I learned was about targeting. I was going after low income people that were into golf. But what I discovered from doing the research was that people that like to golf with their kids, who are parents that golf with their kids sometimes, were actually more susceptible of buying the product because it was really cheap. And so, the people didn't want to buy it for themselves, but they would buy it for their kids because it was a great beginner product. And so you can learn that type of stuff, how to angle your targeting of your product from this type of research. So let's see. The next one I have is, I guess we would call this restrictions. And that has to do with like trademarks, and maybe it's something that can't be shipped to certain locations, or maybe there's some illegal uses in certain locations. That you want to be aware of these types of things. Not every product is going to have some sort of restriction. So, we might not find some of these, but we definitely probably won't find restrictions on the products that we look at today. But I do want to point that out because I want you to be aware is if there is some sort of restriction, if there's something that you need to know about your product to, for either legal reasons or for safety reasons of their customers or whatever, you do want to be made, you do want to be aware of those. So, be on the lookout as you're doing product research. Be on the lookout for any type of dangers or anything like that. We'll put that to restrictions and dangers. Okay, and so those are that's all that was on the top of my head as I was kind of preparing this. Like I said, I didn't prepare any products or anything like that, so maybe there's more that I just don't remember right now. But these are the ones that I want to start with that we could start looking for in the beginning and see if we could add to this in any way. So I'm just trying to make a little divider here. Okay. So we'll see what other stuff we could add here. So but what I like is like a list in the end of stuff that you guys could then take away and say, okay, these are the things that I'm looking for when I'm doing this product research. Okay. Sound good, you guys? Can you guys give me something in the comments? I'm refreshing the video page right now, making sure you guys are all with me. Make sure nobody's sleeping yet. Looks like all is good. Can I increase my font size? Let's see. You guys, hopefully you guys were able to see some of that. Increase my font size. There you go. Does that help a little bit, you guys? Okay. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on this. I'm going to go ahead and kind of make some notes of things. Product one. I don't know how many products we're going to go through. We'll just start finding stuff and see where we end up. Okay, so I'm going to open up AliExpress in another window and bring that over here now. If you guys get bored, if I bore you, just type something in the comment like I don't know, something crazy, and or just tell me where you're from. Just start talking, and that usually wakes me up. Hopefully this doesn't bore you though. It's just monotonous. It's going to be very, very monotonous, and this is the hard work that people don't like, and that's why I said bored, because this is the stuff that's like, it's not the glamorous part of e-commerce. It's fun to me. To me, it's fun. To me, this is like research. Like research is always fun to me. I enjoy it. Right? I like numbers and data and information and discovery. I love all of that. But a lot of people get bored with it, and you just want to throw something on your story, like the design part of it, and start to get selling or whatever. So this stuff does seem boring, but it's very essential for high converting stores. So all right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to pick a niche. Let's pick bags. Let's see, bags, coin purses, and holders. Maybe too general. Let's pick a product that you guys see anything. If you guys see anything on my screen, I'll keep refreshing and we'll come back to it and look at it. But let's take maybe this Bluetooth player. I wonder if that's what that is. A Bluetooth music player, Bluetooth speaker. Colorful, waterproof Bluetooth speaker, wireless, NFC, super bass subwoofer. Okay. So that's a speaker. I mean, obviously it's going to have an obvious use, right? People want to listen to music, right? It seems really, really obvious. And so I think that makes this a good product to do our discovery on, because I want to show that sometimes things aren't obvious, right? Sometimes things, will really pop out and like blow you away at some of the uses or how people are using things or who's using it or whatever. I don't know what we're going to find with this. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe we won't get anything. But it's you're going to be surprised at what it is that people are using your products for. So what I always do is I'm starting off on AliExpress. That's basically where I'm finding a lot of my products. I might use some of the other tools, but I almost always end up over on AliExpress because AliExpress just gives me a lot of good information. There's a lot of things that I could find here about a product in doing my product discovery. And so I'm going to start writing some of these down in the notes. But the very first thing that I'm looking at is I'm actually looking for, after I've already discovered that it's selling, I'm looking for reviews. I want to find a product that has a lot of reviews or a listing that has a lot of reviews. This is the product that we're already selling, right? And so we could find this product on several listings, find the same product or something very similar, right? Here's the same one, here's the same one. I don't know if these ones are the same. Actually, I don't even know if this one is. But either way, they're close enough to where we could at least learn about that product. So we're going to find one with a lot of reviews. This one has 300. This is 2,000. Let's just go ahead and open up a few of them and kind of just get an idea of what the reviews are saying. Now, the more reviews, the better, because it gives us more information. Have you guys looked at the reviews before? You guys say something in the comments if you guys have used, if you've looked at these reviews and you spent some time looking at the reviews, the feedback on AliExpress about the products that you're selling. Alejandro had a point. He says, I'm bored and tired on my current job, right? So if this monotonous work of research is boring to you, well, I hope you have a good day job, right? I hope you have a day job that keeps you happy and excited. So good point. Good point, Alex, or Alejandro. Cool. You guys, some of you have done this. Some of you haven't. Awesome. I love this. I absolutely love this, right? You could learn so much information, but a lot of times the reviews are in like Russian, Russian, whatever this is. You don't know what they're saying, so that's fine. But then you get English ones that you can read, right? So this is what it says. I receive, unless you know these languages. If you know those languages, then good for you. Otherwise, you got to look for something in English. You could also put sort up here, translate to English. Actually, view United States only if you're in the United States and you only wanted to see United States reviews, but you can also translate up here. It doesn't work, obviously. See, it doesn't work for some of these, but for some of them they do. So you get to see what they're saying. Like this Russian one, it looks like it did. Delivery for payment delivery into the hands of 4 days, whatever that means. I think he got it to him in 4 days. I don't really know. That's too mumbled for me. Let's look at the English one. It says, I received this item and was a bit cautious of the quality at first as it was very affordable. Well, it arrived in 2 weeks and I'm very happy with the quality and sound. The seller even sent me a memory stick for holding music. The colors are beautiful and it's so easy to use and set it to beats of music on multiple settings. Sounds great. So cool, they like it. This person got it. They were skeptical of it. Now this person is from the United States, so they're going to have higher standards than most, I would think, right? Yeah, some of you guys are saying you Google Translate. You could do that too, but some of that's not effective. I just look for the easy stuff. So right here he says that they liked it. He was skeptical of the quality and wasn't sure, but they bought it anyways and they loved it. Very good, high quality sound. So the cool thing, there's things that you could know about this. You could know that the person had a high standard, right? They questioned the quality in the first place. They had somewhat of a higher standard, right? They were questioning, this is affordable. This is cheap. Why is it so cheap, right? So he had a high standard in the beginning. He got it. He said the quality, it has great quality and sound. He's happy with the quality and sound. Gave it a 5 stars. So if I'm questioning whether or not I should be able to sell this product, I'm going to conclude, if I keep finding reviews like this, 5-star reviews that said I was cautious, but it's awesome, I'm going to sell the product. I'm not going to have any questions selling the product, right? Another thing I want to learn about this product, this is our first review. I didn't look at this ahead of time. I didn't know anything about this. This is our first review that we're looking at. One of the things I want to notice that we wouldn't have noticed before is the seller even sent me a memory stick for holding music. I wouldn't have thought of that. If I was selling this, I wouldn't have thought of a memory stick. Maybe if I researched a little bit more and read the details, I would have learned that it holds a memory stick. But I didn't. I didn't watch the video. I didn't do any of that. I just jumped straight to the reviews, and they tell me, this person right here told me that it takes a memory stick for holding music. The seller is sending one. Now we don't know if all sellers are going to send one, but we want to make sure, now that this person points it out, we want to make sure that when we're selling them, we're going to include a memory stick. Now, if you heard me talk before, we hear me talking about having a bunch of stacking value, increasing your customer's overall spend, and really stacking value. Well, one way to do that is giving freebies. So buy this now, get a free memory stick. No, actually, give them 2 free memory sticks. Why? They cost like $2, right? Give them 2 of them for free, right? Then you're stacking the value. So I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have known that there is it would take a memory stick and now I could highlight that in my marketing. I could say free memory stick. Now I want to make sure that it's actually being included. However, now I know that it can be included, and I want to stack value, so that's what I'm going to do. So memory stick included. So I want to make my notes so that I don't forget what it is I'm learning, right? I could even say things like affordable yet high quality. These are just my own notes, so that so I come back and add this stuff to my product descriptions and my ad copies later on. 28 days to wherever this place is at. Column is basically normal. Plays clean. Connect. NFC failed. This problem was having a problem with the NFC. People don't use NFC anyway. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to speak for other people. I don't know how often people use the NFC. As long as the Bluetooth connects. But you do want to be aware of problems. So I'll write that one down. Because remember, we want to be, this is restrictions, I guess, dangers, problems. I'm going to kind of categorize all those together. That's not likes and dislikes. That's going to be, assuming that it's good quality, we just don't like that, whatever, right? But like, I don't like maybe the blue lights. I'd rather have red lights or something like that, right? That has nothing to do with quality. The restrictions, dangers, and problems have to do with the quality. So this person said NFC failed. Okay. Brought home 5 days. Nice. So maybe I think it's just getting to Russia really quickly. Super column, especially for the price, came with label the winner. Oh, I think what it's saying is it has branding on it. They're saying it has the winner branding on it. Okay. Packed in original box, did not mash, plays well, volume is super, Bluetooth works, hooray. Okay. The radio signal, wee bad. So it does have a radio on it? Oh, this one does. Wait. Radio signal. Oh, FM, yeah. Okay. So radio signals not all that well, but that could be. So the catch is nothing happened. Yeah, the radio signal could be location. Maybe, I'm not sure. The catch is nothing happened. I don't know what he means by that. It's probably the translation. The auxiliary wheeling at high volume and also sound good. Faster. I don't know. They liked it. Whatever. They liked it. That's what I would do. I would just keep going down and learn all about it. Super sounds great. Gift USB flash drive. Everything works. Seller behind the NFC. Thanks seller behind the NFC. I don't know. I don't understand what they mean by that. But yeah, like we could learn all about products. Does that make sense to you guys? That was just one simple trick on one product real quick. But we've learned. Let's see, let's pull the sheet back up. This is what we learned, just 3 things that we just didn't know ahead of time, that a memory stick can be included and will be included because people are liking it. It's making them happy. It's affordable yet high quality. So even though, it's got a low price, people are really liking the quality of it. It's up to par to something that, people with high quality standards would like, I guess. But there was a problem with NFC failing on some people. So we want to pay attention to that. We want to make sure that this is an issue that's coming up over and over and over again. So like there was some times in this translation, I understand what he was saying about the NFC. That one we understood, but there was another one that we didn't understand. Thanks seller behind the NFC. I don't know what that means. So, if I keep seeing problems with the NFC, then I might want to consider a different Bluetooth speaker or something like that if I'm selling this one. I don't know. It just really comes down to, what is the problem and how valuable that feature is to the customers and all that. Like NFC on a Bluetooth, I don't think anybody would use it. Like I don't use it. I mean, you guys would know too. Have you ever used the NFC on your on say your phone, connect to a device? You almost always use Bluetooth. So that's just one example. If we were selling this product, you just want to consider it. You want to weigh whether or not the problems, the issues are really issues, right? So for example, that is an issue that I may or may not stop selling my product for. Probably not at this point. Everybody seems to love it. 5 stars. Everybody's happy. I'm not going to worry about the NFC. Versus something like those hoverboards that people were selling. Yes, you guys don't even know what an NFC is, right? So that's not an issue. But versus something like those hoverboards that everybody was selling, and then they started catching on fire and became such a problem that that customs started stopped letting them through. You couldn't import them anymore for a while. They wouldn't let them in and out of certain ports, and so that's a problem that I don't want to have. I don't want to have hoverboards blowing up, catching on fire under kids' feet and stuff like that. So if that came up even once or twice, I'm like, no, I'm not selling that particular product. Right. And it actually did. I actually created a hoverboard store way back in the days, and that's when that issue came up, and I just never did anything with it after that because of that. So, I mean, luckily nothing caught on fire with mine, but you do want to be aware of those issues. If it's a bad issue, then if it's a really dangerous issue or something like that, safety, you just consider a different product. Right. But if it's something that the NFC that you guys don't even know what it is, I don't know what it is, don't even worry about it. Right. So let's see. Basically, Pro asked the seller. Notice. Yeah, I don't know what that one is. Let's just find some English ones, some U.S. ones. Okay, that was the one we read. This plays well, qualitatively, lacking only here, so it's possible to use this column as a plays well, collected qualitatively, lacking only here, so it's possible to use the column as a power bank. Oh, okay. I think what he's saying is that he would like to be able to use it as a power bank, although the other similar speakers there is a function. Okay, so yeah, that's what he's saying. He's saying he'd rather have one with a power bank. Good to know, right? I wouldn't have guessed that. He says that there's other ones out there that have a power bank. That just tells me that I don't have the best one. I want to have the best, right? So that tells me that mine's lacking. Others have a power bank, right? They recharge. You could plug it into your phone and charge your phone off of it, right? Has a battery. So I wouldn't have known that. Is that the one? Where's the one that we're looking at? This one. Okay. We wouldn't have known that, right? Did you guys see that? Should I take my Samsung phone back? Smiles. Why are you not using the NFC? That's funny. So, you guys get that, right? You guys could see how crazy, insane, valuable that is, right? When we just looked at one product, we just looked at a few reviews, just read the reviews and learned, these things right here. I could go find now that I'm selling something like this. Watch this. Watch what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna search colorful waterproof Bluetooth speaker, wireless. Let's put power bank. Now this one is $27.60, but let's look at how much a power bank one is. Oh well, they're not even gonna come up. Of course, it's gonna make me look bad. Maybe if I search other terms, waterproof color. Let's see. That's cool. Whatever it is, it's a phone. Yeah, so there's like these ones that are waterproof. Let's see, $29. It has a power bank on it. A little bit different. It's not as colorful. Here's a colorful one. Does it have a power bank? Yep, this one does, but it's $47. So maybe that could be not an upsell, but maybe that could be like a second option. Like you could buy the smaller, cheaper one for $17 or whatever it was, $20, and then the more expensive one for $50 or whatever you want to sell them to your customer at. Actually, that's the prices on here. Right. So I discovered that I could have a higher end product. So I have the $27, the one that I'm buying for $27, maybe selling for $49 or $39 or whatever, $29 or whatever you want to do. So you have that one, and then you have the more expensive one that has the power bank in it, and you're going to sell that for like $69. Right. I wouldn't have known that though. I wouldn't have known that had I not done that research, that simple research of just reading what the comments have to say. Right. I'm not talking about even looking at the product description. We didn't even look at the product description. We didn't do anything, the normal stuff that describes the products. We're looking at the reviews and kind of reading in between the lines, learning things from, what the customers are saying. Right. And then you know what else you could do? You get a good look at what the product looks like with their pictures. Right. You could click this button right here. I get rid of the United States, and then I could click, get rid of the translate. I don't know. It seems like there should be more. Oh no, this one with only 170 reviews. Okay, so yeah, 32 pictures. There's 32 reviews with pictures. So now I get to see what the product looks like. right? Get a good look at the product. Oh, that's that stick. Look, that's the USB stick that they're including. Where'd that picture go? Come on, get back over here. Oh, here it is right here. Yeah. That's what they're including for free so they could listen to their music. Cool, huh? So, yeah, I like it. I like this stuff. I mean, just like you get a good idea of it, of what it is, of that product. For this one, I mean, you're not going to learn very much more about it from looking at those pictures. You might, but say you're looking at like a woman's dress. Well, now you can learn a lot about it. Now instead of sitting on a white background, maybe we'll look at a woman's dress in a little bit. You'll see pictures of them actually wearing it, right? So it makes a huge difference on the customer's photos. So let's look at another one. Let's look at a few of these, because really we just looked at one product, but we actually want to look at several different aspects of that product, or several different products, variants of that product, or several different listings of that product, right? So these were all a little bit different, but still, this one has 1,900 reviews, and let's see. Let's look at them from the United States and with pictures. Excellent craftsmanship. Speaker works great. Nice price. Packing was perfect. Nice to go to the beach and listen to beautiful music. Go to the beach. Now we just learned why they're using it. Perfect for the beach. Why? Because it's waterproof. Right? I mean, that's obvious, but I didn't really think of that. Right? I didn't really think about that. Yeah, so somebody says you're under the impression that you're supposed to stay away from electronics and clothing from AliExpress. Why we tell you guys that. So me and probably Chris told you guys that in the 90-day challenge. You're told to do that. The reason being is because there's other things that you want to be aware of. Right? There's things like the sizing. There's a lot of stuff that you want to be aware of. And for just getting started, sometimes it's not. It's not as easy to do this research. Now, that's the reason why I'm showing you this research. If you do this research, then you could sell clothing items and electronics and stuff. So it's really about this research. This research allows you to sell beyond basic stuff, right? It allows you to get outside that box of what everybody else is doing. This research, it does. It's clear. It really will allow you to do that. And so, because you could be confident of this product. You want to stay away from electronics because they could have a lot of problems. Right? Now, there's a lot of other things that you need to be aware of, like Bluetooth. I know if you're going to start importing this product, I'm going to tell you ahead of time, you're going to need Bluetooth licensing. If you're going to start importing on a boat and doing your own importing, if you're going to wholesale, buy it from Alibaba and import it and get it into a facility here in the United States or something like that, you're going to need proper licensing for importing Bluetooth devices. That's something that I've dealt with. I've lost thousands of dollars on product on the boat just because I couldn't claim them from customs because of this. So I learned that the hard way. However, for dropshipping, we're just talking about dropshipping right now, just getting started and learning about your products. You could sell whatever you want all day long, as long as you're paying attention to this, right? As long as these things. Pay attention to these things. You want to pay attention to, any of this stuff. Learn about it, especially like the restrictions, dangers, and problems. Especially restrictions, I guess, on this topic of what you can and can't sell. Just pay attention to restrictions. If you see something coming up over and over and over again, like all the U.S. sellers saying mine was seized by customs because it's not allowed in my state, or something like that. Whatever. If you see that, then leave it alone. Right? But those are the things that you're not going to see over and over and over. If you see these reviews, it has 1,200 5-star reviews versus, maybe 150 or so, 140 or so other reviews, right? Other than 5 stars. So they got an insane amount of 5-star reviews. When you see that, you can be pretty confident of that product, right? So again, if you're not comfortable with selling electronics or clothing, those are just the examples I was just giving just because they're in my head. Don't worry about it. Just sell what you have. Just do the same thing. Just do the same research, no matter what the product is. Just keep in mind that. What you just want to learn as much as you can from the reviews. Now that's the point of doing what I'm showing you here. Is just you want to learn as much as you can about your products. Okay. Somebody asked, would I use the pictures that I find in the reviews? Would I use them? So since you asked, would I use them? I'm going to answer it different than if you would ask, would I recommend if you use them? Because you can't just take pictures off of websites and just use them any way that you want. With that said, I'm comfortable sometimes taking these review pictures and using them on my website for several reasons. One, I might take this picture from Russia. I'm targeting the United States. This person from Russia will never, ever, ever see my photo, ever see it. Will never see that photo review, that picture, right? Because I'm just targeting the United States, it's not going to be an issue. If I have, when you start getting into like people and faces and personal stuff, then I'm a little bit more careful about that. The vendors are not going to care. You can take all the information from the vendors. They will not care one bit. So, or let me rephrase that though. I'm not saying to do it. I'm just saying that this is from my experience, and I have allowed myself to do some of these things sometimes. So, what I recommend you to do is this. What I recommend you to do is, if you're selling a product, get that product to yourself and just take a few pictures of it yourself, right? Because, you're talking about review pictures, right? You don't need a special camera to take that picture, right? You don't need special equipment to do this, right? Now, to get started, it could be tempting to do stuff like that. That's your decision. But it's just as easy to just take your own pictures. It really, really is. So that is what I recommend that you do. So yeah, you guys can ask questions on in the comments. I'm going to try to answer them as we go along, just because I like to keep up with the concerns and make sure I don't leave anybody behind with what I'm saying. Does that mean that you cannot import a single item? No, when I said that you're going to have problems with importing the Bluetooth stuff, I just mean when you're buying at wholesale and you're like trying to go through customs. Customs only pays attention to certain value over certain value, and it depends on the country that you're in. So, like if you're ordering a small box of 500 necklaces, you don't really have to worry about stuff like this. If you're ordering a container full of Bluetooth speakers, you have to worry about it. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm talking about here. So not importing one by one, not drop shipping or anything like that. So yeah, so that's, we can learn the same type of stuff from this set of reviews. There's 1,900 more here, just to, like, you could go on for days just reading those, and keep doing the same thing, right? Just go to the next one and read its reviews. Whoops. And see if you learn anything else about this one, right? Or from this one. Chances are you might not. And so then the next thing I do is, let me show you. I come over to Amazon. I'm opening it up in another tab. And just search for the product on Amazon. See if I get that in there. Okay. To try to find the same product. Here it is. Some reviews. Another one. Right? And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to look for reviews on Amazon. So yeah, Kenneth, I typically, if I'm going to put products on my site, I'm typically going to run ads to it. I'm going to, I might throw 10 products on my site and test all 10 of them, and maybe one of them will be a hit, or maybe none of them will be a hit, and I'll turn off all my ads after a few days. That's a whole nother video on how I do that. But yeah, I do test, if I'm putting the product on my store, I'm typically going to test it with ads. And then if it doesn't work, I'm still going to leave it on my store. But with this product, for products that we're going to be doing this amount of research on, we're not going to do this with every single product that we find for our store. This is only for products that we've decided that we're going to start, that's getting some sales, and we decide we want to sell more, that we need to really focus in on. Okay. If we spent this amount of research on every single product that we put on our store, it would take forever to be successful. So this is not what you want to do for every single product you put on your store. To get products on your store, just use like something like Oberlo and just, get click happy, start clicking the little buttons and getting those products on your store, and just, changing descriptions real quick and just getting them up there quick so that you can test quick. That's really what that part is about, is just speed and testing, right? But once you get a product that gets some sales or gets some interaction, maybe some engagement, people are engaging with it, maybe they're not even buying it, they're just engaging with it, your ads, then you're going to want to do some more in-depth research to this level of research to really enhance your sales pages and your ad copy. So you could do the same thing on Amazon. The better thing on Amazon, though, is that you get questions and answers. And this is where I discovered before about the rangefinder. So coincidental that that's what's down here is a rangefinder. That's what I was saying about a little while ago. That's how I discovered that the one rangefinder was for kids. Somebody asked, is this good for a kid or I don't remember what the question was. And somebody said, yeah, I bought it for my kid, or I bought it for myself and ended up giving it to my daughter, or whatever the review was. And so you can learn a lot of information from Amazon about the reviews. Now, here's something you guys might not know. If you find a product on AliExpress, 99.9, now this is just some random statistic, but 99.9% of the time, random statistic, you're going to find that product on Amazon or eBay. Because all that stuff comes from China. It all comes from the same place. It all comes from the same factories, in Guangzhou and Shenzhen and the same places. And all the same stuff comes from the same places. That's why you see a million vendors selling the same thing all over the place. Because one factory or two factories are producing this stuff. They're distributing it out to a few different distributors who are then distributing it to stores and sellers. And eventually, and what we like to do is go back as close as we can to the factory and get it directly to the factory. But keep in mind that there's probably dozens and dozens and dozens of distributors in China that are selling the same product, which each one of those distributors could have maybe 1,000 retailers or something like that. I mean, it could be like there's insane amounts of that's why you could find a product. I don't know if you guys ever done this before. I don't know if you guys have ever been walking through like Costco, right? And Costco might have this exact same speaker. You might be able to find this exact same. This is a perfect example of something you might go find in Costco, right? For $27 or $29 or $39 or something like that, right? The only difference is it's going to have some different name on it. And it's going to be packaged in a nice box, and some person that just happened to get a contract with Costco to get these lights in there, just some random marketer like me or somebody like you that is able to get their products into the right place at the right time. There was a story about Bed Bath & Beyond recently about them having some lamps that were being manufactured in China, and these things were all over the internet, being sold everywhere from every seller. And Bed Bath & Beyond was the one that was getting a bad rap for them because the sellers, or because they started catching on fire. There was creating fires or something like that. But the fact is that everybody had these exact same ones. They just all had different name brands. They just put a different name on it, right? And so my point is that these products that you're going to find on Alibaba, AliExpress, or whatever, eBay, they're all on the same sites. They're on Amazon, they're on eBay, they're on a bunch of other sites too. So you don't just have to be restricted to these sites or limited to these sites, Amazon and eBay and AliExpress, which are the ones that I use for my research. You could do it on any website. Just search that product and find out what you can about it. But we're on Amazon, so what I do on Amazon is I look at the question and answer section. He says, I just received my speaker, but it doesn't say waterproof anywhere. Is it truly waterproof? Good to know, right? Like if you bought something that said waterproof online and then you get it and it doesn't say waterproof, I'd be skeptical about putting it in the water. I understand that concern, right? It doesn't say it on the box. I want to make sure I don't ruin it, right? And so this person answers, says, I never had my speakers near splashing water, but this might help. And then they gave a link. We don't care. See another answer. Hi, thanks so much for your question. It is waterproof. So the actual seller came back and responded to him. It is waterproof, and the waterproof rate is IXP65. If you have more comments or concerns, please feel free to email. So you can find out a lot of information about like spec information about the ratings. Now, from what I understand, you can't legally say waterproof in the United States with certain items. I don't know what type of items. That's something you're going to want to look up. But from what my understanding, at least for watches that one of the industries that I sold in, you couldn't say waterproof. You have to say the rating, which really means up to like it's water resistant up to so many hours or something like that. I forget. So that's something you're going to want to be aware of. But regardless, this is what we learn about it. This guy asked the question, is it waterproof? The box doesn't say it. I thought I bought a waterproof device, but it doesn't say. The vendor says, yes, it is. You're going to have that same problems probably from your customers. If you're selling this and the box doesn't say waterproof anywhere, but you're selling it as waterproof, you're going to have customers that are going to question you. And you could have some confidence saying, yeah, it is. It's waterproof. Don't worry about it. It's just not on the packaging, but you're safe, right? And then just give them that rating or whatever, right? So that's in line with dangers and problems. I'm not going to continue to keep writing stuff down right here. I just wanted to get some to give you guys an example of what to find. But that's in line with dangers, problems, and restrictions. Is, you know, we don't want them using it in near water if it's not waterproof, right? So somebody asked, how would I sell a Bluetooth speaker? How would I target it? Well, luckily there's an option for Bluetooth right inside of Facebook for targeting. So you can try there. Start with that one. Not going to say it's going to work, but that's where I would start. It did work for me when I crossed it with other niches. So you're just going to have to figure that out. Is this compatible with any iPhones? This person says, I would say yes, it is wireless or has a cord attachment to USB. Other answers is yes, we have iPhones, it works great. I have a Samsung, but your phone has Bluetooth capabilities, it will work. So yeah, works with iPhone, anything with Bluetooth, just say yes. How do we connect to see about a warranty? Mine quit chart. Okay, so this person had a problem, let's not worry about that. Is it actually waterproof? Didn't say. I would say so. I've used it many times in the rain and dropped it in the sink and haven't had any problems. Okay, so good. You can be confident. This is an actual waterproof speaker. Yep. Had same concern. So you know, people might ask you. I mean, that's legit right there. That's like real. That's reality. You're selling this, you start selling this, and you're happy you're getting these sales, and all of a sudden you get customers that are saying, hey, you said this is waterproof, but I don't see it on the packaging. Imagine how stressful that could be to you. You sold 100 of them, you know, advertising it as waterproof to people that go to the beach, and now you're finding out that it doesn't say waterproof, and people are questioning you, and you don't know because you've never touched this product before, right? That could be really stressful. It has been to me, those types of situations. And so by doing this type of research, you're aware of this, then you could answer it right away. So, you know, we spent 40 minutes, 50 minutes on this one product. That's how I like to do things. I like to just take one thing and really, really break it down as much as we possibly can. Now, I do want to go over a few others because we could get a few more examples. But that's honestly like the meat of it. That's really, really the meat of it, of how to do this product research. I mean, we've learned everything we possibly can. This is like getting it home to my house and playing with it myself, right? I mean, I can't really get any better than that. Look at these reviews. We got more pictures. Now I know how big it is in comparison to a water bottle or wherever that picture was at. You know, we have perfect gift for my 11-year-old son. He loves it. Great speaker overall. Totally impressed by the quality of the product for the price. The sound is really good. Decent amount of bass. Let's see what this problem was. Don't like to leave bad reviews, but I don't want people to get the same trouble as me. First bought the speaker, pretty cool lights and loud. A month later, it stopped working. Customer service contacted me, helping me, sending me a new one. Went out about 2 months, and the speaker went out again. So this person bought one twice. It went out twice. You know, hopefully that's not a big problem among people. You know, it doesn't seem like it got a lot of good reviews, but it does seem to be an issue that's coming up. You know, stopped working after a few days. 2 stars for the lights of the price, missing 3 stars for poor sound quality. That guy don't know what he's talking about. They like it. Right. So you just ignore it. If everybody's saying there's really good sound quality and then you got somebody that says bad quality, then I just don't even pay attention to that one, right? But when you get a bunch of people that are saying that they're having theirs, you know, theirs went out or whatever that they were saying, you know, it stops working after a month, you want to start paying attention to that. Now, if there's like, you know, like we seen on the AliExpress one, this one, where you have 1,200 5-star reviews and then a few others that were just garbage reviews. Like if even all 140 or whatever these are, 145 or whatever it is, you know, if all of them were because they were broken, like, or they started going out within a month, with that amount of 5 stars, I really wouldn't be concerned. I would just deal with the broken ones as they come in. I'll just replace them for them. Just, you know, offer a 3-month warranty, 6-month warranty or something. Just replace it with them. A lot of times the vendors will even have that warranty. So you have it sent back to you and you send it back to the vendor or whatever. Yep, Derek, you don't have to get sample products. Now, I recommend getting products if you can. You know, we have our warehouse full of returns or products all the time. So, you know, if you can, great, but you don't have to. And that is really what we're trying to stress here, is that you don't have to, you don't have to do that. You know, you could sell products that, like, that's one of the biggest questions I get asked. That's one of the biggest fears in drop shipping, in the entire drop shipping business, the whole entire drop shipping world. You know, I've been in this for several years now, and the biggest concern I hear from people getting started is how do I sell products that I have never touched? Like it's a fear. Like, I understand that fear. Why you're going to be caught in a situation where you're selling garbage products? Well, no, that's not the reality of it if you're doing the proper research, right? So let's go ahead and find another product. Let's go. You guys didn't give me ideas. I told you guys. Any tips for good t-shirts with high demand to sell? No, I don't have any good tips on that right now. Who would you target if selling iPhone cases? This is not about targeting. I'm looking for questions, anything concerning this topic, or if there's any type of product that you guys want me to research. Let me just let's see, anything on this front that looks cool. Oh, I said I'd do women's clothing. Let's just grab something random. Okay, so we want something that's selling a lot. Let's get back out of here. This isn't going to work. So clothing, men's clothing, women's clothing. Actually, men's clothing is better. We'll do men's clothing. And then we'll pick maybe some shorts. Right? And then let's search by most orders. Okay. All right. Yeah, somebody said women's clothing. We'll come back to women's clothing in a minute. Let's just look at some of these shorts. Open up a few of them and see if we can learn about anything. See if we can find some helpful information. You know, because, I mean, these ones, well, other than the Superman, you don't want to sell these because Superman, but, you know, you would just, like, go after guys, I guess, would be my targeting, right? I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go after guys that like wearing shorts. You know, maybe something like Old Navy, right? Or some sort of Old Navy brand or Aeropostale, something like that where they wear this style of pants or shorts, I mean. That might be my logical targeting, right? But doing research, I might learn that might not be my targeting at all. Or maybe it will be my targeting, but now I'm armed with some additional information. So I'm going to do the exact same thing as I showed you a minute ago. And come to my reviews, and you know, I could start reading the ones that are in other languages. Well, they're actually translated, but like they're typically hard to read even in translation. So I like to look at the United States. And the other thing is I like to look at the United States because I like to find a ratio of how many people are in the United States wearing these, right? So right here I got 5 pages, and there's 10 on page or something like that, 15 on page, of people in the United States. So, you know, let me uncheck that and then see how many pages. There's 110 pages. So, you know, there's a small portion of people in the United States, but I still think that that's a decent amount, right? However many that is, 5 pages times, so what is that, 100 people out of 1,600, somewhere around there in the United States. So that's a decent amount. So what that tells me is that this isn't a product that's only selling in Brazil, right? So a lot of times when you come and find a product on AliExpress and you're like trying to sell it, and you're like, oh man, there's tons and tons of numbers, you know, it's selling really, really well, and then you try to sell it, and then you can't sell it to the United States or whatever, at least. Well, to the United States. You try to sell it to the United States and you can't get sales, and you kind of wonder why. Well, it's mostly because it was people in, like, say, Brazil or in China or in some other country that's buying it. So, you know, it's all about the culture a lot of times. And so, you know, when I click this reviews from the United States, I'm also not just looking for the information on the reviews from the United States, but I'm looking at a ratio of how many people are buying this from the United States versus, you know, the overall sales. So, like I said, this one's got, it says, I don't know if it actually gives us a number, but 5 pages, and there's like 15 on a page. So we'll just say like 75 to 100, somewhere around there, which is a decent number for that amount. So now let's look at what we can learn from this. Too narrow cut, size 40 corresponds with width of waist, but skinny at the bottom of the shorts. The quality is excellent shorts. The seller reacted with understanding and returned the money. So it's not that they're too small, it's just that they go down too narrow, it sounds like. The waist fits good, but that the shorts went down narrow. And that, you know, he didn't like that. This person didn't like that. So let's see. We got some pictures here. I don't really care about the pictures if they don't give us information, especially if it's blurry. The shorts were a little too short, and I had to order the same size before they fit. I don't know what you mean by that. So you just kept ordering the same size and they finally fit? That doesn't make sense. Whatever. We'll try to stretch them when I go to the laundry. Okay. So yeah. So this right away, now you say, imagine you wanted to sell these, right? Now this is why you've been warned against clothing and things like that, is because of the sizing. But the quality is there. I mean, this person said up here, the quality is excellent. It's just it didn't fit, right? And so the quality is really there, but you just got to pay attention to the sizing. Or sometimes the quality isn't there, and so you want to check that. Sometimes they'll take stock images, right, of one of the factories that's making them, but they're getting it from a different factory. And sometimes it might be like, a 1000D nylon, and that's what's on the picture, and it looks high quality, but then you get it, or they sell it, and it's like a 400D, right? You're getting it from a different factory, right? So you're going to find that, and at times, and typically it's not the case. Typically you won't be getting gotten over on like that. But especially if you read the reviews, you'll be able to find out like things like, oh, this was a knockoff, get the better quality ones or something like that. In this case, the person said it's excellent quality, it just doesn't fit. So these don't fit, shorts fit well, look perfect, only material seems to be too thin. So now this is the exact opposite. This person says that the material seems too thin, but they fit. So I really don't get that one. You could pay attention to sizes. Maybe sizes are different. This guy ordered a size 40 and had they were too small. This guy ordered a size 40 and it fits perfect. So I don't know. I don't know what's up with that one. This one said perfect, received within a week, consistent with the order. The quality is good, though the fabric thinner than expected. So now we know the fabric probably is thinner than expected, right? Came without belt, cheating. So maybe it looks like there's supposed to be a belt included, but it doesn't say anywhere that there's a belt included. So that's another thing that you did. Like I would not sell these at this point. I would not sell these. Like if I was thinking about selling these ones, like I would stop instantly. I'd be like, okay, the sizing's messed up. Some people are saying they're too thin. Multiple people are saying too thin. Now they don't even come with a belt. Like, no, I'm cool. I'll leave it alone. I'm not selling it. Now there are some people that are happy with them. So maybe you'll get some good results for it. There are people a lot that are saying perfect, perfect, perfect. A lot of people are saying that. So maybe you'll get some good results. I'm not sure. But the fact that there were so many bad results and that there's so many variants, a possibility of, all these sizes and all these colors, I'd probably just start thinking about leaving this product alone. Right. Just, I don't want to sell something that if I'm going to get people that are going to complain about the quality or complaining about the size, that's just a customer service headache waiting to happen. Right. So you can say customers need to pay attention to the sizing chart, and you will have that sizing chart there. But saying one thing and having it happen are two different things. Now you could tell your customers, well, sorry, you should have paid attention to the sizing chart, but I guarantee you 100% your business isn't going to last long if you do that. So you have to be accommodating to your customers. So you have to say things like, oh, we're sorry, we did have the sizing chart there. You must have missed it when you ordered. We'll do this for you this one time. We're going to send you out a new pair. Just we'll put in a shipping label. Just return the old pair, back to us, right? Something like that. What that does is it gets them happy. Now that they're extremely happy customer because you're fixing it for them, versus being a pissed off customer because you said, well, you should have looked at the sizing chart. Right, you don't want to say that. You never want to talk to your customers that way, right? It's one thing to point out that they should have, like, oh, you must have missed the sizing chart. Unfortunately, that does happen at times. Have a look now and let me know what size we should send you. Something like that, right? Point it out to them, but do it in a way that's kind and help them out. That's what running a business is about. It's about doing your part in the world to put stuff out there. Yes, we benefit from that, but we're just completing this system, this world system, and so you don't want to do it in a mean way, a mean-spirited way. So, and I don't think that's what you meant when you mentioned the sizing chart. I'm just saying that it goes beyond that. It's not just the size. You just have to be aware of your customers. So those ones I wouldn't sell. I opened up a few of these, so let's see if we can learn any more about these ones. Shorts. Let's see, reviews. 950 reviews. Reviews from the United States. Product size, top predict a small, was this translated? Yeah, okay. He's from the United States, but he still needed it translated. I'll let them slide on that one. Here, I'm going to let you guys know a tip. Here's a secret tip. It has nothing to do with this training. Absolutely nothing to do with this training. Actually, it can have something to do with this training. But as a side tip about your Facebook ads right now. So, side tip. What I just realized right now, and I've known this for a while, but I want to tell you right now because I just seen this, is that this person's in the United States, but is speaking probably like French or something. I don't know what that is. This person in the United States is speaking like Russian or something else. I don't know what that is. United States English, United States, Russian, Ukrainian, something, I don't know. Right? United States and this. Right? Now, different possibilities of what could be happening. One, the person could be ordering from the United States and sending it to somebody somewhere else. There's a lot of different things that can be happening, but I don't want to speculate on any of those. What I'm going to really speculate is that what I'm comfortable speculating, because I see this over and over and over again, is that what I find for these cheaper products, cheap knockoff China type products, I'm finding, and again, this is a secret tip that I've never actually told anybody this. I mean, nobody even that I work with have I told this. If you are going to target English, if you target English as a second language audiences, you're going to, in the United States, you're going to get cheaper clicks and you're going to get a higher chance of conversions for cheap type products, right? So if like me, I would never buy clothes off of AliExpress. Just straight up, I wouldn't buy clothes off AliExpress to wear. I just want to do it. If I went to China, when I went to China, I bought clothes and I wore them there in China. I got them home. They just sat. I don't know what I did with them. Put them in a bag or something like that. I don't mind. But I wouldn't buy clothes like this type. I wouldn't buy it. Right? Just it's not me. So with that said, there's a lot of people that will, and the type of people that will are the ones that are wearing this type of stuff in their in the countries where they're from. So you notice on on AliExpress, you get a lot of people that are buying from Russia. You get a lot of people that are buying from Brazil, Spain, Mexico. You're getting a lot of countries where they don't have a lot of money. They're buying this type of stuff. So my secret tip for you guys is a very, very sidetrack tip, but I did kind of just see it right now in that page wherever it went. Is that down here? Is that if you're going to, one thing to try in your campaigns is to target people that have English as a second language. They'll be more susceptible of buying the cheap China stuff. I was selling like a good example of this. I was selling a knockoff of the G-Shock watch. It kind of looks like a G-Shock, but it's called the S-Shock, right? I sold those for a little bit of them. And, the biggest, I noticed that most of my buyers, at like 80 out of 100 buyers had a name that was, from one of these countries that you typically see buying on AliExpress, right? There's a lot of Russian names, a lot of, mostly Russian, honestly, for that particular watch. So, that's where I really kind of discovered that, and now I see it here, and I've seen it over and over since. So, kind of side tip, because it has to do with your targeting, but it's right in line with what we're talking about. Is that you can actually discover that here in this research process, right? Why are all these comments? Why are these English speaking people? Why are all these people in English-speaking countries not speaking English, right? I would like, well, maybe there's something there. Maybe that's who I need to be targeting, right? So, just a side tip. I'm gonna close that one out. Let's look at some more products, some more shorts, I guess. And let's close out the shorts. Somebody said women's clothing. Let's look at women's clothing. Oops. Women's clothing. Let's look at cocktail dresses. I don't remember the exact targeting for ESL population on Facebook, but there's a lot of language options there. There's several of them that will allow you to do it, or several ways that will allow you to do it. Let's see, dresses, orders. Maybe I'll do another one here, another one of these lives probably in a few weeks on targeting. Go really in depth on targeting and just discovering audiences that you don't even know exist. Let's see, this one was sold a lot, so let's find out all about it. Look at the feedback, and you can look at reviews from the United States. Very good, fast shipping, fast delivery, less than 2 weeks. My favorite dress store. This is my number 4 dress purchased from Everpretty, which must be this store up here. Yeah, Everpretty. So she's purchased four dresses from them, and Thank you. So she's liked it. She's going to keep coming back. So, I would want that. If I'm going to be selling a product, I would love, if I'm going to be having a product sent from an AliExpress vendor, having them say that they would purchase that product 4 times, or that they purchased from that same vendor 4 times, I'm happy with that, because that means that they could purchase from me 4 times, because I'm going to be selling that product, right? Does that make sense? So that makes me happy. If I'm selling this dress, that makes me happy that she's happy and she purchased 4 times. That means I could count on this vendor. Beautiful dress, fast delivery, my favorite dress vendor, best quality, and excellent service. Awesome to know. Very pretty dress. Good stuff, right? You guys agree that's good, that I'd be comfortable selling that? They haven't had any problems with it, right? If they're not having any problems with it, then you shouldn't either. Let's look at pictures. So pictures, you get some quality pictures of it in the packaging. You get it hanging up, what it looks like. You get people wearing the pictures. Again, you want to be careful of these ones because of, you don't want to get pictures of the people in it. But it does give you a good idea of how it fits. And you could take some of these pictures and, I've been guilty of taking some of these pictures and kind of cropping them and making a collage and using them for a short period of time. So, I'll just shut up. You guys know what I'm saying. So, yeah, let's just you could learn, you could learn all about that dress. She looks happy. It looks like it fits her well. You could see all about it. Get some good ideas of how it fits on people. And the type of person you should be going after. I didn't notice it in the description, and you wouldn't notice it by this picture, but you would definitely notice it by these pictures. Well, not definitely, but you can notice it by these pictures. Is that these are for? I noticed it because a lot of products that are on China are made for really thin girls, for thin Chinese girls. And so when you see products like this that they're not. So I'm not saying she's big or anything like that. I'm just saying that she's not as big as a lot of the thinner Chinese girls. Then, it made me wonder, is this for plus size? And it actually does say up here, plus size. So, I wouldn't have noticed that from the initial looking at it. I got that from the reviews. So, that's good to know, right? These actually look like some good pictures, modeling type pictures. So anyways, learned about this one. This is a good vendor. So now let's say this is my product. Now I'm selling dresses. This is I'm selling this. They're happy with it. I'm happy with it. We're making some money. You know what I'm gonna do now, guys? Because they're saying that two people have given reviews out of just a few I've read. 2 people have given reviews. 2 people have given their reviews saying that they would buy from this store again, or they've bought from this store multiple times actually. So if I'm in the dress niche, sorry about that, guys. If I'm in the dress niche, I am going to click on the store and look at the store that it's all about dresses. It's all about the product that I'm in. It's all about the niche that I'm in, and I'm just going to find out what's their best sellers. What is it that's hot about this store? What do people like about this store that's going to keep them coming back 4 times? It wasn't just the dress that they seen or that I just seen. It's it has more to do with the branding. It has to do with the quality. It has to do with a lot. One thing about AliExpress to know, guys, because now we're talking about the source. Now we're talking about the stores. Is that AliExpress they have to have brands on these stores. Now they can't just sell random products on here. So when you go to a store on AliExpress, they're kind of building up a brand around it. And so when you see people are coming back saying they're going to come back, yeah, you guys, that was a tongue twist. You guys are giving me a lot of laughs on that one. That was kind of it came out not what I meant to say. So yeah, it's funny, haha. Makes a good webinar. But the important thing is that you guys are catching what we're talking about here. Learn about the store, learn about the brands, learn all you can about the products that you're selling so that you can enhance your products, right? So there's so many stores, so many products on here. This one right here, this picture right here is very, very catchy. This would stand out in a newsfeed. This would stand out on your slider. for your store, if you have a dress store, same thing with this picture. Now, I'm not going to say take these, but if you're building a relationship with this store, you could ask them. I've never been told by an AliExpress vendor if I could take a picture from their site ever, and I've asked them. I've asked plenty of times. All right, so that's different than coming over here to the feedback and taking the review pictures. It's different from taking those, right? It's completely different. These are users uploading to AliExpress. This is the store uploading it, making these images, and they want you to sell. Because they want to sell products, right? So stuff like this, I would ask this vendor, be like, hey, can I use can I use the image on the front of your store? I'm trying to build a dress store, and I want to sell this dress. Can I use it? I'll buy them from you. I promise I'll buy them from you. And they'll say yes, right? So that's what I learned from this particular product, if that was the one we're on. Yeah, where they said that they would buy they've bought from this store over and over and over. What I learned from them is well, I need to pay attention to this store. Why are they buying from them? I want to be like them, right? I want what they have, right? So all this stuff, it goes way beyond just learning the specs of your product, right? We didn't really learn about price point. We didn't talk about that a little bit, but you could learn about price points by researching your products elsewhere. But we've seen some different uses of different products. We take the waterproof speaker to the beach. We've seen some likes and dislikes. We've seen some pros and cons of products. Targeting, we talked about how we could learn some different targeting angles from products, restrictions, dangers, and other problems. We learned all of that. We learned so much from this, right? I mean, would you guys agree? Would you guys agree that you've learned so much from this simple webinar of just looking at, just the speaker? If we just stayed on the speaker, without looking at the dresses and the shorts and the other stuff, without looking at all that, like in my head, if I was sitting there, I'd be blown away, right? And if you guys, if you haven't learned from this, then you guys just watch this video again, okay? Because everybody, you guys are like, there's nobody that's saying this is stupid. None of you guys are saying that you didn't learn. So like that's, I don't want to go there to assume that you don't, because obviously it's good value. Right, and so you guys just take it. That's the important thing, is that you take this and you actually do it. We could do these videos, all 90 days. There's obviously going to be 90 days of content. We're on day 41. So much videos from so many different people, and we could do this stuff all day long. And if you guys don't watch it and if you don't apply it, well, you're obviously watching it. There's been over 90 people on this webinar, maybe over 100, way over 100, altogether. You guys are watching this, but are you guys doing it? Right? Are you guys actually doing this research? Are you actually applying this stuff? Now, we know you are, but I'm challenging you guys that don't. I'm challenging you that are those of you that are just watching these videos and that are skeptical, right? Because that's the big problem that I have, or the big issue that I have coming to, or that I see from you guys in this store, just anybody getting, or in this group, or anybody just getting started, is that you don't want to get started because you can't touch the products. You don't know about the products. You don't know what you're selling. You don't know about the quality, right? So I just solved that problem for you. You should never have that problem again. You should never question anything about a product again. You should automatically know what to do, automatically know how to handle it, right? And that's really what I want to stress, is that you guys have the answers now. You have the answers. You know how to do it. This is what I've done. This is what others do, and this is what works. Sound good? You guys like that? Good stuff? Thank you guys for keeping it entertaining for me and running with my tongue twister. Let's see if I'm missing anything else. Good nuggets. Good. Glad. I'm not going to answer the specific questions about products, but about learning about products, I will. Awesome. Cool. Doesn't look like there's any more questions. So without further ado, I think I'm going to close this one up. Tomorrow, I'm pretty sure I'm still scheduled to do it tomorrow as well. So we'll be talking about, as long as it's still on track, I think we're going to be talking about reporting and stuff. You guys all have been testing products and been running some ads, I think, for a while. At least the majority have. And so tomorrow, I want to take a look at the reporting section of your ads to kind of figure out what the hell it is you're supposed to be looking at, right? What do all these numbers mean? So talk to you guys then. Take care.